What is good, homies and homettes? Today we are going to be putting some switchbacks in on the Honda Accord. Reached out to Auxito. They sent me out some switchbacks for us to go ahead and try and put in. And yeah, this is going to be fun. So let's go ahead and unbox this really quick. Let's do this real fast. All right, so once you get them unboxed, these are your bulbs. If you're dealing with a 2005 Honda Accord or just 7th gen, you're going to be wanting to look for the size 1157, and basically these are going to be white, and then when you hit the turn signal they will turn amber. Actually, amber is the proper color. And yeah, so also with these, most likely there's going to be hyper flash, so they actually sent out some resistors too. And let me open these resistors. All right, so when you get these resistors, it's going to be these quick connects that you're going to splice into the lines, but these resistors get very hot, so you have to find a place to mount these. Now unfortunately they didn't give any screws or any bolts, but I'm going to use double-sided tape. I'm going to find a metal spot on the car, and then we'll place those there. But for now, this is the whole setup. So you'll have these LED bulbs, and then you'll have load resistors, because the reason you need the load resistors is because the hyper flash happens. And when hyper flash happens, it's basically giving a signal because LEDs take less power than a filament bulb. So it thinks the bulb is dead. So in order to trick the system, because you have the LEDs which draw less power, this will give a right reading that it's taking enough power. So there's that. Alright, so my quick fix to this is going to be double-sided tape, and this is just a thin little layer here. This should fit on this perfectly right there. I'm going to add a couple strips and then find some metal, clean it off, and that should be good enough. And I'll put a couple extra strips on there, make it nice and thick so the heat might transfer through, and should be good. Alright, so what I've been doing is cutting this double-sided tape, making it fit there. I actually cut half of that, and that'll actually go on top. Like I said, I'm gonna layer it. So I'm just peeling these back here now, and then you see that there's 2 whole strips, so I'm gonna basically cut this strip to look like that. All I do is look at the edge, and then I'll cut a line basically right in half, and then layer that on top. That's all I'm doing. All right, now that we have these finished up, let's go ahead and go outside and get these bulbs and these installed. All right, got my spotlight on here. So I'm gonna take off the battery, take out the battery tray. We're actually gonna remove the battery. So don't remove the battery if you have a Honda Accord and don't have your radio code, because it's gonna need to be reset. So the reason I'm gonna need to take out the battery is to reach behind here to get the bulb. But if you also notice, I had the wheel turned to the side. You actually can get the bulb out from back here. You can put your hand in there and get the bulb out, but we're going to be putting in those resistors, so I'm going to need to take the bulb completely out so I can get those resistors wired in. So that's what we're going to do now. This side, very easy. You can just pull that out. I can actually get my hand underneath there and pull that out, but then you can wire the resistors here, probably put the bar maybe right here or something like that. But for this side, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. Okay, once you get the battery out, you can actually try and get your hand up there, and I can actually fit my hand there and get it. So there's my low beam, and then there's your turn signal right right here, just by turning it counterclockwise and pulling it straight out. There's the bulb. So now we're gonna actually cut into these wires so I can splice in the resistors. That's the whole reason why I came at this angle, because I knew that I'd have more wiring to do so. And also, we're gonna have to search for a nice spot to put those wires. Maybe somewhere like right here. You're gonna definitely want to get some soap and water or some alcohol, and definitely you're gonna want to try and get whatever spot you put it on. You don't want to put it on plastic because it does get hot enough to melt plastic, so we got to figure that out. All right, so I've taken the electrical tape off. You are going to want electrical tape for this too, because we're going to have to wire this back up. The electrical tape was at the end. Now we got to figure out which wire. Obviously, we have it's cross polarity, so it really doesn't matter how the resistors get set up. All right, so we'll have these pieces here. Basically, I got this one on, right? Unfortunately, I broke the top on this one, so I'm going to show you how I did this. So, kind of pry it open a little bit, okay? And then we're going to get it onto the black connector here. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to slide this in. And you want it to be on that one side. You see? We're going to take the other end of the connector. We're going to push that through. You can see it actually is going all the way through. We don't want it to go all the way through though. We're going to pull it back a little bit. You're going to take some needle nose pliers. I just like to use needle nose pliers. You're going to squish down on that. Make sure that's still in there. And that's going to connect both of these wires without actually having to splice into them. Then what you're going to do, not like my first time there, you're going to close this door here. And you're going to close it all the way down. Now there's no way that they can touch. This one's exposed because that door broke, so I'm going to wrap that with electrical tape just to be on the safe side. So let me show you. I don't have the battery connected, but let me place this battery in and show you what a regular bulb looks like. Okay, so I decided to turn the bulb on for you guys, just so you can see how it looks. All right, now be careful, this do get hot, but basically you're gonna push down and turn counterclockwise. And that's how you take that bulb out. These can only go in one way, so while you have the light on, you can push this down and turn to the right. And being that this is a switchback, it's gonna be white instead of yellow, but then when I hit the signals, it should turn yellow. If you put it in the incorrect way, when the daytime running lights are on, it'll actually be yellow, and that's not the right way, because it's supposed to be white first and then when you hit the signal. So unfortunately, you lose the feature when you turn your when you press your unlock button. See, they're supposed to click 2 times. That doesn't happen anymore, so it's probably just an LED thing, but it is what it is. And the hyper flash is gone. Now it's blinking very normal, and that's exactly what we wanted. So now we're going to continue. I'm going to take the bulb back out. We're going to fix all these wires, make sure we tie everything back up the way it needs to be, and then I will put the bulb back in. But for now, we're going to take out this battery and fix all that stuff up. We don't want this battery still connected while we're messing with electrical. So let's get it. And do remember, this resistor is very, very, very hot. So we're going to go ahead and mount that as well. You can actually see how hot that resistor got. It started bubbling the wrapper on there. So when I tell you these things get hot, make sure you put them on metal, okay? All right, it's getting pretty dark out here, but got those nice and wrapped up. Remember, we did crunch to that one. So, all right, now we're gonna put the bulb back in. Now, I wanted to mount it here, but that's not gonna reach far enough. So we're gonna have to mount it on the inside. So we're still gonna have to go ahead and pull this fender out. And not pull it out, but pull it to the side and find a good mounting spot for it. All right, so when you pull this cover out, you're gonna have like little clips and stuff, but you can see in there pretty well. Hang on, let me you don't have much room to work with, but there's your bulb. You're gonna put your bulb in there, and as far as mounting that resistor, looks like it's gonna go right here on this brace. I'm gonna clean that brace off. I'll show you in the ending product. Okay, so what I did was zip tied the ends, and that is now mounted. Hopefully it's not like too angled, but bulbs in. So let's give this a test run. Now you see these are on the ends. These actually aren't touching the resistor. That's the part that gets really hot. All right, so what we got to do, everything's nice and tucked back in. I got everything wired back up. Okay, so you're gonna see what I'm talking about. That blink feature, that does go away, unfortunately, but everything else works as normal. There we go. We got our daytime running lights now. And we have our very, very bright turn signals as well. So there we go, guys. There we go. Switchback, baby. know this video ending wasn't the best because it got dark and rainy and wet and foggy and whatnot, but I hope I helped somebody today, even just on changing your regular turn signal. So but if you are interested in these bulbs, you can go to Auxito.com, use code MAC for 15% off your order, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.